Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here of Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour Podcast.
Yes, hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 231. Thank you for joining us tonight. Brian, take that hat off. They don't deserve it.
Chambers, I hate that we met today, had our little fun at the zoo, and I told you verbatim, I was worried about today.
Yep.
It's a game we absolutely should win.
Yep.
And in typical Eagles, aka Philly sports fashion, we lost. Now, I'll give credit to Jets defense. Goddamn beast. Didn't help that we threw 4 picks, but...
Now, Brian, just 3, almost 4.
I thought
3 and a fumble.
Was it? I thought it was okay, maybe, yeah, that's what I was considering. But, yeah, Chambers, it's funny because a buddy of ours, you know, who is a big San Fran fan, I had sent her a message, and I was like, oh, man, that game was rough to watch because I saw the end of that. Did you watch that game?
No, I didn't see the very end. What?
So, San Fran was also undefeated and lost to the Browns and lost in, I would say, not completely identical, but they lost within points of each other. And, yeah, to the Browns. So the team they should have smoked, just like tonight. Eagles lost to Jets.
Big day for backup QBs. And, well, Brian, I know why San Fran had so much problems, because Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey both went down during the course of the game. I know this because I have them across multiple fantasy teams of mine.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no excuses for Eagles today. I mean, give it up for the Jets defense. I'll just say that. It wasn't their offense that did it.
No, and they had a ton of injuries too, and they still stepped up and beat it.
Hey,
you know what? The Eagles are good for one colossal screw up per season at the very least. At least this time it didn't happen in the Super Bowl in the second half like last year.
I mean, let's put it this way. You know what? They, as being the team that usually is in the Jets position, it's only this, last couple years where we're, not fully feeling like a typical Jets fan, probably. Where you have that dog in you and you're like, you know what? We want to beat an elite team. I understand it. It can happen. They wanted it harder. They did it. So, but I'm still going to support the Birds.
Well, yeah.
So, Chambers... earlier today, did we ever figure out what was the brewery from Elmwood, that zoo?
I think it was Stony Creek Brewing.
It was Stony Creek.
You had their IPA,
Yeah, their IPA was pretty good, and you got the Ember, right?
Yeah, I don't know if that was Stony Creek again or where that came from, but that was really good.
Yeah, but what are you drinking for tonight's episode?
Well, had to go into the old beer fridge, and I had a couple more of these left. So, Southern Tier Caramel Pumpkin. Had these a few weeks ago. Gonna kill off the 4-pack. Yeah, I forgot to let it sit out a little bit and get lukewarm, because I forgot that it's really not that pleasant when it's really cold.
I was just about to say, I was like, you didn't learn your lesson from last time, because I saw you just dive right into it.
Right, do I ever learn my lesson? The answer is no.
So I mentioned this beer last episode, I believe, the Young Pumpkinstein. So, there's too much glare right now, but basically has the, from Young Frankenstein. It's a Marzen style lager with allspice, candy, ginger, cinnamon, and nutmeg. Coming to us from the Chamonix Creek. So, the label's just fucking top tier. They're not ones for really writing much. Let's see if they actually have... Oh, wow. Only 5.2%. So it's a light boy. Haven't even taken a sip yet. I hate talking.
Drink your siplet, Brian.
That's very... the candied ginger is what's getting me. Because it's got that little added little bit of spice, but still very sugary. It's surprisingly creamy for a Marzens are usually more bready, more sugary, but they're not typically creamy like this. So yeah, I like the first couple sips. I'm gonna let it warm up a little more, see how it feels. But I've maybe had 3 beers from the Chamonix Creek that I didn't really like. outside of that, they're always pretty damn quality. So
Yeah, they normally hit, so I don't think you're going to be led too wrong there.
yeah, but no, tis the season, Chambers. It's actually getting relatively cold as opposed to the random bouts of crazy hot weather. But yeah, I mean, Jim, will you be keeping this drinking up tomorrow with the Fightin' Phils?
Yes, as we're actually recording this on a Sunday, going early because we're looking at the Phillies NLCS schedule. And we're like, oh my God, it's like every day this week. And we're not going to not watch. So squeezing in the podcast where we can for you folks.
Yes, sir. Speaking
but yes,
of
there will be.
I
don't know.
Go ahead, Chambers.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be having any fancy beers during the Phillies games, but I'll be imbibing, Brian. We can put it that way.
But speaking of squeezing shit in, Chambers, what you been able to play this past week, if anything?
Dog, dick, nothing.
This is becoming a reoccurring bit with you, Jim.
Again, the freaking Phillies and this playoff schedule. I love that they're there. Every pitch is high anxiety, super stress, highest of highs and the lowest of lows. But you know what it doesn't do, Brian? It doesn't leave a lot of time at night for anything. Because I got to watch the freaking game. So by the time the game's done, we're now in, DS and championship series time. So everything's primetime games. So yeah, I'm not going to bed until super late through all these games. And I normally game late. But then by the time the game's done, I'm like, oh, I'm tired. And I go to bed. So maybe next week. And also this is going to be a lot of week of setting up for my kid's birthday party. So yeah, I haven't had a lot of time for anything.
Good times, Jim.
So fun and relaxing.
Well, this week I actually did manage to get in a decent amount. Mortal Kombat 1, I think I talked about last week. I've been diving a little bit into the story. I was actually telling Jim earlier at the zoo that it's definitely a good game. I am enjoying it. I think I mentioned last time it's a little slower. I'm getting better with the combos, so it does pick up the pace, and that helps. But it definitely still feels like just a tick slower. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the characters. I mean, I've already played as a lot of characters, not all of them certainly. But the story's interesting. As I said, the whole reset of the universe. I'm not a big Kung Lao fan, and the first chapter that's Kung Lao heavy. So it's not pulling me in yet. I'll say that. But I will say, did you see they already showed that like the Omni-Man gameplay?
Oh no, I've not seen that.
So this is probably going to be very obvious. Omni-Man is that manga? Is it a cartoon? What is that?
He's from Invincible. It's just it was an indie comic line that got a lot of traction like mid 2000s, and then it got really popular because of the Amazon series.
Okay, so yeah, I knew it picked up popularity in the past couple of years. I always look at it like it's was it John Jonas from Spider-Man? It looks just like him, just in a cape. The big mustache and the square.
Oh, you mean J. Jonah Jameson?
That's what. Yeah. Who did I say?
John Jonas?
John Jonas. Yeah.
You combine the Jonas Brothers with Bones Jones. I don't know what the hell you're doing.
Wait, what? There. So what's his real name?
J. Jonah Jameson.
Jonah. There you go. J. Jonah.
I
just put an S at the end.
Do not. You couldn't have fucked that up anymore.
I was right.
No, you weren't.
I was completely right. So here's the thing. It looks just like, without knowing anything about that series, he looks like a bad Superman.
That's kind of what he is. Yeah. I think he's actually Invincible's dad, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a long time since I looked into that series at all. I gotta watch that show. I hear from everyone it's really good.
Jim, I was gonna say, who's Invincible?
He's the star of the show, Brian. He's the main hero.
Okay. Interesting they didn't put him in a game, but that guy. But yeah, what then it makes really no sense. Why are they putting Homelander, who is legit just a bad Superman, in the boys?
Seems like the gimmick they're going for, Brian.
All right. Well, yeah. So anyway, Mortal Kombat 1, great. I got further in Starfield trying to finish. I progressed the main story, so I think I can't imagine I'm more than 5 or 6 missions away from the main story being done. Just so I can say I finished Starfield, even though I know I'll be playing that game forever. And then, of course, Friday the 13th, I had to pop in. Well, Friday the 13th. We talked about a couple months ago how that game, they basically, like for everyone still playing, they unlocked everything. So all the Jasons, all the skins, all the whatevers. So everyone is maxed out level. I just did some bot playing because I wanted to get some footage because you know me, Jim. I love my list. I love my ranking shit. I want to do a couple lists of ranking like every kill in that game, the grab kills and all that. So redoing that, I do love it. Obviously, huge fan of Friday the 13th, the series. I feel like you're a pretty big fan of that series, right?
I enjoy it. I've only watched a couple of them. I haven't seen like every single one.
Really?
They're always a fun time.
When you were a kid, did you not like try to sneak them where you could? Because then you had a legal cable, right?
Yeah, I had a legal cable. It was just something I was never like... I don't know, all those old like classic things. I never saw any of them until way later. And it wasn't because like they were being hidden from me. It was just something that like was just never really on my radar. Like I knew of them, but I was like, I was too busy watching wrestling and porn, Brian. Getting the real money's worth out of that goddamn illegal cable. God
damn it, Jim.
Explains a lot.
Because I was gonna say, did you have I know you don't like the gimmicky things of Friday 13th, May the 4th be with you, all those whatever things. But I was gonna say, do you have a favorite Friday the 13th movie, even though you've only seen a few?
I mean, I might have to go with Jason X because it's just so goddamn goofy and enjoyable and fun and quotable.
This year
everyone's like butthurt about that movie on principle, and then you sit down and watch it, and then you're like, oh no, this is awesome.
It's so awesome. I make it, I have the full Blu-ray set, so each year at Friday the 13th, I just pick one of them to watch. This year, during the day, I watched the remake, which is another one that's actually really underrated. Did you see that one? The 09 remake?
No, I didn't.
I think it does a pretty... I enjoy it. It's what you would want, right?
Is that like the only one that like... Well, some of them like will randomly do it right. Like, Halloween, it's not the worst in the world, but it's not like good either. Nightmare on Elm Street was pretty damn bad, but like
that one was terrible.
That whole production was like cursed from the beginning anyway too.
Yeah.
Or like Evil Dead, that was a pretty good remake.
That was really good. Yeah, no, I think this one did it fine. Like they just were like, all right, we're gonna retell it, give their spin on it. It has what you want. The throwaway characters, some you like, some you don't. Plenty of sex, some great nudity, and some gory ass over the top kills with plenty of like random comedy in the kills itself. So it's everything you want. But then at night with the wife, I was like, all right, we're gonna watch another one. And of course I get the girl answer of, oh, well, you choose. All right. So I had to choose Jason X. She's like, are you putting on the one in space? I was like, yes. Damn right I am.
Damn fucking right.
So yeah, no, I agree. That is a underrated gem in that series. So anyone who hates it, shut up. But Chambers, I know it is a Sunday. We are a little early. Were we able to get any questions this week for Patreon?
Patreon.com/DrinkABeerandPlayAGame. Where for as little as $2 a month, you can ask a question that we will answer in each and every single one of these Power Hour podcasts. So we did get one question in. Normally people do it like the day of when they know we record. So anyone who puts these in late, we'll do them next week as well and do your questions for next week. Double up. You know the deal by now. From JD Maines. You never have to work again and have endless supply of beer. But you can only play long-winded, narrative-happy, poorly translated turn-based JRPGs for life. Deal or no deal?
I never have to work again. And I have beer for life. God damn, I might take... I don't know. I might take that, Chambers.
Oh, I mean, I'm taking that deal in a second because I don't have to play video games anymore either. So, I can find another hobby. So yeah, give me no work, give me all the beer in the world. If I want to dabble, sure, maybe I'll try a JRPG or two. Why not? I can waste some time, but Brian, sometimes you just have to move on from hobbies. Sometimes things happen. Life gets in the way.
Yeah. I was going to say, I honestly, at this point, I feel like, work's a motherfucker. So yeah, not working, I can deal with it. And I don't hate them as much as Jim.
Which is funny because I think I've played more of them too than you.
You definitely have. But like I said, it's not a style. I can't describe why I don't like it, but it's just not my cup of tea. But you know what? To not work and beer for life.
Is that some kind of chai tea, Brian?
That's saying the same word twice, Jim. Chai is a tea.
Oh, I had never knew that.
Well, get learned.
No.
Yes.
That's why I don't play these games, because reading's gay.
Well, you're going to have to pick up a hobby, so you might as well start reading.
Nah, I'm definitely not doing that.
Oh, God. What would your backup hobby be?
Oh, I'd find a way to ruin my life with something or other. It'd be like sports betting or something, probably. It wouldn't be anything good or productive, because that's not what I do.
God damn it, Jim. God damn it. I like that question, JD. So, yeah, if you want to set that up for me and Jim, we'll gladly stop working. And you can dictate our games. Just
and I mean,
you know,
for the page, focus us. They say that's good for YouTube. YouTube likes it when you have a focus channel, so.
God damn it, Jim. The fuck was that?
Right, you get to play, and I didn't mean to do it on purpose.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. You can't prove anything. Plausible deniability. Shut up. But yeah, right, you can play endless hours of fucking Dragon Quest now, like you've always wanted.
God damn it. Jim, and we're speaking of Japanese things. You still owe me my tier list that I gotta do for Dragon Ball Z.
We talked about
earlier. So listen, hey, even tomorrow when the Phillies are on, you can have your little laptop in front of you and you can start organizing.
Oh, I will.
It doesn't take a lot of brain power. Did you decide yet how are you? So I'll set the tier list names if you want. You get the pictures.
Yeah, no matter what. I just bit my freaking tooth. Well, not bit my teeth, but like I didn't bite my tooth, but like my teeth like clanged together. Oh, God.
It's like I just banged my dick. Ow.
I'd rather bang my dick. Jesus. So pleasant.
Yeah, you find the pictures, because like I said, I'm very curious. Jim, it might become one of our most hated videos.
He could. Oh, yeah, that's not being paywall behind anything. That's going for the public, Brian.
Oh, that is absolutely. I will gladly, if there's anything. Listen, the joke is, with anything, Jim, you know how ignorant I am to a lot of pop culture things. Any tier list you want to make me, I'll gladly sit there and ridicule things I don't know anything about.
Yes.
Like, how about we do Star Trek characters? I don't know anything about those dorks.
Oh, that is true. Oh, my God. That'll take forever to set up.
Your heart would be so broken. No, don't say it.
Oh, you'll say the wrong thing. I'll be like, how dare you say that about? Never mind. Yes, I will be getting around to that.
No,
yes, as always,
thank
you
to everyone.
That's a great
question.
Yeah, thank you for everyone for the support. As usual, get those questions in. We'll double up next week if you missed it this week.
Yeah, absolutely. We always appreciate it, guys. But go Phils. So, Jim, speaking of PA and something we've talked about, you managed to sneak in kind of a Bud Light topic. We've said one of the biggest winners in the debacle that has been Bud Light this year is our good old Yuengling. And their sales have jumped over 22% over the year since all this shit's gone down. And they've just been selling out of stores left and right. But one of the things they've been discussing is the fact that stores are slow to restock and that they're not actually earning any additional shelf space, regardless of the fact that the demand is clearly there. And they're trying to basically say, hey, to keep things fair, if this is a free market, people want it, you should be able to have more shelf space for us. So I'm sure, like many folks, and if you look at the comments in this article from the New York Post, there's a whole backstory, right, to how these things get shelved. We've even talked to Michelle about when she used to buy liquor for things. You kind of get schmoozed over. Maybe there's some payoffs going on. But you walk into probably 90% of beer stores in America, you're going to see the shelves dominated by the big boys. And Yuengling, I'm sure it's in a lot of them, but they don't get that much. So, I don't know. Will they by next year, as the year closes out, and they have clearly dominated this year, Will they get a little bit more? Bump Williams, CEO of the consulting firm, doesn't think so. What a name, Bump Williams.
I didn't realize that the head of Yingling was named Dick.
Why not?
It seems like that's just like a joke name. I'll be like, it was like, oh, what's this guy? I was like, oh, who runs this thing? Dick Yingling? And turns out, oh shit, his name is Dick Yingling. What the hell?
I mean, he's pretty old. He's 80 years old.
Bob Course, Dick Yingling.
Damn it.
Fred Budweiser.
Well, let me ask you, Jim. I will say, since we haven't reported anything, I mean, the Bud Light sales seem to still be going down. Do you think there is a reverse that they'll ever return to normal? I know I've said I don't think so.
I mean, maybe not, because it's not like it's always been as big as it is because, you know, it's been there, and because of like the massive marketing that always goes on with it and crap like that. But it's not like everyone ever's like, oh man, the Bud Light would taste really good right now. Like no one says that. So it's not going to be saved by its flavor. They need to put more gimmicks into their cases again, I guess.
Yeah.
Or start making some gimmicks. Hey, do what Keystone used to do. You know what Keystone used to do, Bri? You could turn a case of Keystone into Bago. Punch out a few holes. They had it already perforated for you and set it up in ways like that.
Wasn't it Keystone that also had that ridiculous, 92 can case? Or like, remember that one? I think it was
Pabst
Keystone.
did that.
Was it Pabst?
For
I
Christmas,
wasn't
like
sure.
the 90 can like case.
Whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring back gimmicks. I mean, that's a surefire way to do it. It's clearly not with their goddamn marketing. I feel like
they got people riding horses. It's so manly.
There's something.
What, Bri? What were you going to say, Bri?
This is a good beer. What I was going to say, Jim.
Yes, I'm sure this is exactly what you were thinking. Whatever you're about to
say. Is give my boy Yingling some more shelf space. That's all I was going to say, Jim.
Yeah,
That's
Bri.
it.
Give Dick a hand. Put him on the shelf a little more.
I see what you did there. Give Dick a hand, you son of a bitch.
Bri, what were you going to say?
I was going to say I think gimmicks are good, Jim. Gimmicks are good. No, I don't know. I think I would love to see Yingling really take that next step up, and I would love to go in stores and see like right next to the big boys, just a Yingling. Because
it would rule.
And it's also again. It's also like undoubtedly such a more flavorful. Like I feel like Yingling should be on the same thing as like Sam Adams.
Oh yeah, by far. Like it's way better tasting than the macros and stuff like that for the most part.
Yeah.
It's America's oldest brewery, so it's got some history there. Still going strong. And yeah, I mean it earned it. And even like their Yingling Light and Yingling Flights are just as good, if not better, than a lot of the light beer out there too. So according to that friggin' market.
Oh yeah, those flights are delicious. If they're smart, you know what? Do what they can. Hang their coattails on the Eagles. If Eagles are slowly becoming America's team, like today was America's game, even though it wasn't a great spotlight for the Eagles.
Listen, Brian, the Eagles will never be America's team.
I know.
Let's put it this way. Everyone hates the Eagles except for us.
But here's the deal. I will say this team feels different in the sense that, like, I'm noticing like the announcers and shit actually giving a lot of props to like Hurts, whereas in the past I feel like they've never given any of our QBs any credit, and I feel like he's putting a face on that people seem to like, and if that changes people's opinions of Eagles and Philly, then Yingling, just hop on, and maybe you can ride that gravy train. I don't know.
Maybe stop losing the games of the goddamn Jets. Maybe start there.
That would
maybe Jets are gonna be America's team now, Bri. Whole nation going Jets, Jets.
Don't you dare. That will never happen. Goddamn Jersey. But can't wait to see if there's any more Bud Light centric topics. But let's talk about a little resurrected person who we talked about for a while, then ultimately disappeared. Your boy Bobby Kotick, Jim. He threw a town hall, and he got, of all people, James Corden to
this headline's like just the most. It's like cursed, and it gets worse the more you read it. So the headline reads: At Activision's internal meeting, inexplicably hosted by James Corden, Bobby Kotick promises a, quote, new dimension of emotional connection powered by AI. Ooh.
There's so much. And then the little subtitle is, "You are not prepared."
And then the picture they use, which is just like...
It's awful.
I mean, it's the perfect Bobby Kotick picture, you could say. He always looks like he's trying to take a shit. He's got like permanent trying to poop face.
To me, he looks like the human MODOK.
He does look like the human MODOK. And better than the one we got in the goddamn movie.
Ugh, don't get me started with that one. But, okay. I know of James Corden, but I had to look up, like, what has he actually done? All I can gather is
he's annoying. That's what he's done.
Well, he's definitely annoying. Insufferable. I've never... So I can honestly say, other than clips on Instagram or Facebook or something, I've never, like, seen him on TV. I've never watched a full video with him. So, okay, like he's a host or something. He's just annoying. But why would they hire him? Like, you've had internal company town halls. Like, why would you bring him, of all people, to host a town hall? Especially to announce shit like fucking AI. I don't know. This is such a weird move here.
I don't know what world Bobby... I mean, obviously, what world Bobby lives in. Because, like, one, like, no one likes James Corden. Like, yeah, he had a kind of successful run for, like, a couple years. Like, he was always hated by the internet, so it's not like an internet thing that he brought him on for. But he hasn't had his late night show in a couple years now at this point, so it's not like he's relevant. And, pardon me. Mm-hmm. And then also, like, it's almost like you've seen buzzwords with AI. And if you read the article, he's talking about how, like, machine learning AI can bring connectiveness to, like, their games, and he's really interested in Elon Musk's Neuralink thing, which, like, we're gonna play games through, like, chips in our brains now that are made by AI or some crap like that. He's basically saying the CEO spoke on the future of AI and Activision future games. If you look at new technologies that are on the horizon, we're able to do things that we've never done before with AI and machine learning. We have characters on the screen in video games with mouth movements and facial animation that is realistic, which, no, we don't. You're going to have a new dimension of emotional connection that we've not yet mastered. It's like,
through AI. Yeah, that's...
No.
Well, I see all these creators now doing... I don't know what game or thing it is where it's like you're talking to a game and you're asking it questions and the response... Like, it's an AI-generated response. It's like, okay, it's cute and entertaining for right now, but it's also like, you're like, you know, these are some of the same people that like talk about how it's be so bad, and they're straight engaging it and making it better. Like, you do know that's how AI gets better, right? Like, you keep engaging it.
Oh yeah.
But no, I mean, and if you read this article a little bit more, like the person writing it basically spelling out like, hey, some of the best physical acting we've seen is in Baldur's Gate 3 with motion capture, over 200 actors, animators, They said they even acknowledge that, yeah, okay, so maybe AI in the future can help with cleaning up like a lot of behind the scenes shit that it can't do, but like if Bobby is trying to talk about AI actually creating that human experience and motion and acting, yeah, I kind of feel like, what is it called? Is it Arkham's Razor or the Uncanny Valley? Like either one where it'll probably come like close, but just like everything else, no matter how good graphics get developed, like there'll always be that little thing, whether it's the hair fabric or the way the delivery is, it won't feel quite right, and it'll be apparent.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the article is going to be below, and it's just, like, it's just bizarre. Like, everything about it's just so goddamn bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, speaking about all this shit, Jim, I know the strike is still on. Have you heard anything about that? Like, is there an end in sight for that shit?
Nothing I know of. I think, like, the SAG-AFTRA, I think they're coming close to something. I thought I heard before that they were getting close to a deal, and then I guess that fell through. I have no idea. I'm not paying attention. And I know when like Crooked was on, he said that the video game actors just decided to go on strike too, as of 2 weeks ago.
That's what I was asking. Yeah. Looks like they were supposed to talk 2 days ago, and it was this Fran Drescher suspended talks as
the nanny.
Well, she's the president.
Oh, is she? I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
No, I mean, I'm just curious, like, yeah, what is gonna... You know, I asked you this before, like, yeah, you want the human element, but there are these things, like, there's something to be said about how kind of cool some of the AI-generated, like, pictures are right now. But, like, if things like innocuous things, like backgrounds being created in games or something, if you can just use AI... Is that kind of cool? Like, so now you're just like how, like, the question before was, is YouTube ever going to be viable? Because that's kind of replacing the way people typically make videos, networks, and everything. And now, even though there's an unfiltered amount of people just uploading garbage out there, there is clearly definitive value in, like, who does it well and who's just doing it whatever. You know, like, won't AI kind of, if you utilize AI, it will be the same?
I mean, the quality of AI has gone up like crazy, just with like goofy image prompts and stuff like that. Like, you remember 2 years ago, you would get these abominations and people would post them and be like, oh, look how funny this is. And now, like, Bing just has an AI, like, image generator. And it turns out with stuff that looks kind of good.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I mean, like, the problem comes in, like, obviously you're stealing jobs and shit like that from people if you start relying more and more on AI. So... I don't know. I could definitely see, especially something like anything run by Bobby Kotick, fully embracing that to, you know, save as much money as they can. So, I mean, you know what? Honestly, if I was like a digital artist right now, I'd be kind of scared of this shit. Because, like, man, people, they're just going to be using this and I'm not going to be touching shit.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but think of it like an artist who, when Napster started taking off and you were scared about, like, how can I make money if people are just going to steal my music? Like, there will be some middle ground. I don't know what it is, but, like, yeah, the industry will adapt, I'm sure.
Eventually, yeah. I mean, little did the artists know that they were barely making any money off album sales anyway, so not like that even mattered that much.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, boy, were those record deals bad.
But Chambers, let's talk about a little bit what I would consider a little bigger news. The thing we've been talking about for over a year at this point has finally come to a conclusion and officially announced. Activision Blizzard has joined Xbox. And man, oh man.
Right, don't forget the King part. Activision Blizzard King.
Yay. I mean, come on.
Brian's Candy Crush.
We know who the prize pig in that wholesale is, Chambers. We might as well just say Call of Duty has joined Xbox.
Yeah, essentially.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there was some hiccups there. I never actually thought that the UK blocking it would be a thing that would stop it fully. I thought it was just kind of a delay tactic. But it's gone through, and it remains to be seen. Like, Xbox did some cool announcements, did some trailers, some cool art out there. I said I'm excited for all the potential now crossovers between these awesome franchises that you could see in one way or another. Not just, don't just throw in Fallout people and Halo into Call of Duty as skins or whatever. Like, I want some legit, thoughtful crossovers somewhere, and I'm sure it will be done. But who knows?
Well, will it be thoughtful, Bri? Will it be done? Or will it be as lazy as possible?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, look at things like the Fortnite crossovers, the Minecraft crossovers I've been happy with. I know these are different things we're talking about. I said, Call of Duty, say what you want about it. When they have, like when they introduce the boys into it, and they have the superpowers, if they do some kind of crossover, like Halo with Call of Duty, like,
I mean,
somehow,
that would be cool as hell.
Yeah, like you bring warthogs into a Call of Duty Warzone map, and fucking, like, bring some of the weapons. That would be amazing. Like, you know, I know I'm oversimplifying it, but how cool would that be?
But Brian, we already have Nicki Minaj. What more do we need?
I want the sword, Jim.
Well, I want Viva Pinata. So there.
Nobody wants that. But yeah, I guess, Chambers, I mean, we've been talking so long. We know there's these deals on the table with PlayStation that, yes, it'll still be coming there. Do you think my predictions of whenever Nintendo mentions its next console, it will be compatible with Game Pass and it will have the ability to have Call of Duty on it?
I'll agree just because I really want that to happen.
It would be pretty goddamn sweet, right?
Yeah. I mean, for developers, it'll suck, but for an end user, that would be freaking awesome. So, yeah, I will definitely take that.
Wait, why would it suck for developers?
Because, like anything else with Game Pass, Game Pass really does eat into their sales that they would have gotten from any game that they put out there. But that's not my problem.
But, Jim, isn't it supposed to be about the end user at the end of the day?
Yes, it's about me.
You're maximizing fun. So, yeah. It's. I mean, I feel like they've been on the ropes for such a long time with this. We knew it was just going to be.
I thought it was only like a year or so. I didn't realize that we were coming up on 2 years. 20 friggin' months.
Has been 2 years. Oh, wow. Well, I love all the memes now. It shows like the list of bodies that Xbox been collecting, and they just have Sega next for Xbox. I'm like, but like that's not. I'm sorry. I still don't think that's a tempting morsel. You just got Call of Duty. Like, I'm sorry. Sonic is not that. The only next tempting thing has to be Nintendo. And I'm not saying that will happen. I'm just saying like that can only be the next morsel, right?
Well, I think there's already talks and rumors out there about Ubisoft, and I think they're trying to start to eye that up.
That'd be pretty big. I mean, yeah, I like it. With
that would be insane if after like glomming these people up, if they got like the biggest, French publisher and game developer out there.
I feel like these two are kind of in hand, Ubisoft and Microsoft already. Like the way they operate, like if you get Game Pass, you almost always had access to Ubisoft Plus. The fact that they have this third-party thing going through Ubisoft, I feel like Ubisoft is becoming a shell company for them. Because, like, remember that was the deal with the one case where Ubisoft would be the generator of Call of Duty for PlayStation? They'd be like an intermediary between the two.
Oh, yeah. Now how, like, the cloud gaming for Microsoft basically got on, what is it, on PC or in general? I forget which. Sold to Ubisoft now?
There is some weird play there, so I feel like they're in bed for sure. I don't know how, but they're in bed. But yeah, I mean, outside of Ubisoft, let's think. I mean, what else would be big? Would 2K?
Yeah, I mean, that
like
would be...
then you gobble up sports? I don't know.
I mean, that would be a big sports thing to get. I mean, you would own basically NBA and WWE games. Because that's what really goes through 2K at this point.
What does NFL?
Madden, that's EA.
Oh, that is EA.
Yeah.
Okay, so then maybe EA. That would be a big one.
I mean, I think now that this went through, like, the whole time, like, I was fully in support of them, like, taking it over because, like, Microsoft does need a win if they're not going to make their own games themselves. This is what they need to do. I think this is enough developers now, though, between that and Bethesda, where it's like, okay, I think, like, they don't have to buy up everybody. Because eventually you're going to hit that peak where it's like, oh, fuck, everything's under this umbrella. Like, that's not good.
Yeah. No, you're right. But I mean,
I do like that Sega will be the holdout for, like, ever, because of its old Japanese ways that they'll never sell to something like Microsoft. Which is so funny that they'll be that last little guy. Their little blue hedgehog and their army of crazed fans sitting there saying no.
But once again, do you think that's even appetizing to Mike at this point? Like, if you're Microsoft, like, you just bought the filet, are you gonna go back and be like, do I really want those mashed potatoes now? Like, that's what Sega is. They're mashed potatoes. They're good, people like them, but they're not a main course.
Right. Do you really want to own the thing that spawned Chris Chan? Is that what you want? You want that under your umbrella, Bri?
You know, I wouldn't want that, Chambers. I don't know. Do you think with all this shit going on, does it titilize Nintendo to maybe want to go for a Sega? Just get it over with. I feel like it should be a thing. Like, who does Sega hate more, Nintendo or the West?
Oh, the West.
So I mean, out of
The
spite,
answer's always the West, Bry.
out of spite, do you
They're
think
filled with
they
dishonor.
should? Do you think they should go to Nintendo?
That would be funny if Nintendo like did buy them and like they made it like some kind of big announcement, like the biggest acquisition in video game history, and it'll be like,
You're like, yeah, maybe in the 90s. Like,
yeah.
who cares?
I mean, I guess it's historical at that point. It's like WWE buying WCW. It'll be that weird feeling.
Yeah. I remember, hey, shit, I do remember being a kid. When that happened, I was like, oh my God. That fucking dual multicast on both things going on.
Yep.
WCW, WWE, together.
Fate of the world's in my hands.
Yeah. But no, good on you, Xbox. Now, do something good with it. Make cool products. Do a lot of cross-promotional shit. And don't fuck it up.
Yeah, be hands-on without being too hands-on.
Yeah,
Like,
let the
you know,
developers
don't
do their shit.
Don't do what you did with Rare, but also don't do what you did with Redfall and give them too much leeway to do whatever they want, and then that turned into a disaster. So,
Yeah, like Call of Duty, leave them to their devices. As I said, offer to allow them to use IPs. Let them fucking bring in now Doom, Fallout, like I said, Halo. Like, dude, how awesome would Doom Guy be in Call of Duty? Like, you can now do that. You have the IPs.
yeah, because they did just like piss off like everyone by what did they just shut down like original Blackout, right?
Yeah.
Like they're forcing you to move everything over to like Blackout 2, even though a lot of like your skins or something or other doesn't translate over. I forget what exactly.
Something dumb like that.
But that's like the main draw for Call of Duty now too. So, yeah, here's your chance to Fortnite it up and have some crazy crossovers like you were talking about.
I mean, that's the thing. I think the number one reason Fortnite is what it is those licenses they pull. And Call of Duty, they do it in such short spurts. But if you just keep them in there and keep adding to it, then do it, man. You got enough things. People would love the shit out of those little add-ons. Make a big difference, as we see.
And look, like when Fortnite had like Dragon Ball Z people doing Kamehamehas, you can have like Dovahkiin doing like Husrobach and like killing people in the fucking game.
Yes, absolutely. Fucking have a dragon in COD Warzone. You don't. Jim and I mean, we used to. I remember my big argument of why.
Oh, Warzone. Why was I going to Blackout? Jesus, I'm old.
I know what you meant. Yeah, you don't need it realistic. Throw some fucking dragons in there. You know what? Just ride a dragon against a helicopter. Who cares? Just fucking have fun with it. But Chambers, so I think that one is now put to bed. The only news I think we'll ever follow up with that shit is like, yeah, if there is any more potential purchase announcements or there's some like, hey, PlayStation, you're just gonna get some shit a little bit late. You'll still get it.
I know the FTC is still like appealing the court decision, so they could still be a little bit of a pain. So that's why like this announcement just like dropped last week. And everyone was just like, oh, holy crap! Like they were kind of just doing a victory lap now, even though it isn't like fully done, but
it's
essentially done at this point.
It's done.
And actually, Bri, one good thing that could come from this to bring all these stories of today full circle. Bobby Kotick. He's probably when we were talking when this all first went down, like this was right as like the huge Activision, sex scandal shit was going on. And the big thing everyone was saying is, well, maybe this will be the way to get rid of Bobby. And it seems like it might. Because apparently, according to Phil Spencer, Bobby's going to stick around through, January or at least first quarter 2024.
Yeah.
And then, that'll probably be it for him.
Good. I mean, listen.
He is the guy everyone hates. He's the big baddie.
He's hated. So, adios.
He's going to get $400 million to go away.
I mean, we just talked about Unity CEO needing to go away. So, yeah, get rid of the top dogs, the bad apples that everyone hates. Boost morale, boost your public image. Probably a win-win.
Yeah, I know it's funny that a lot of people are so butthurt about it. It's like, look, Bobby already won. He's too big to fail. He was too powerful. So, like, he's not going to go to jail. It's never going to happen. He's never going to, like, face any real repercussions for anything that's ever happened ever. So
remind me what, like, other than, like, what was the biggest things against him again?
I think it was like covering up sex scandals and maybe like pressuring people into redacting stories, or like, maybe what you could, like, someone consider like tortious interference and stuff like that. And then, like, the dickhead stuff, like he's very anti-union and crap like that. Like he's big into union busting within Activision itself. So, I mean, I guess he could be somewhat responsible if they found out that he was responsible for burning all the evidence for the sexual abuse, but I don't even think in general it would have been anything you could have probably pegged him for.
Yeah. Sounds like typical CEO nasty shit, but...
Yeah, you're never a CEO for the most part because you're a good person. Like, you have to be like a ruthless prick to be that powerful.
No, they said the personality test of any CEO is like they're all the same. Yeah, you're ruthless, you're a prick. Most people don't like you. You got there somehow, right?
Yeah, exactly. And he's been with Activision since, like, what, 1991 or some crap like that? Like, he kind of saved the company back then, so... I mean, yeah. He made a juggernaut while doing a lot of bad shit, so... Typical success story.
He was the MODOK of Activision.
All right, bro, stop force feeding the MODOK.
I just want to say MODOK. But Chambers, speaking of things going away, and actually our buddies over at Gaming Off the Grid just did a video on this. So Best Buy is going to stop selling physical media, DVDs, Blu-rays, games, as early as the first quarter of 2024, both in-store and online. The in-store doesn't shock me as much. The online is kind of shocking.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it was online as well.
Yeah. So, when I saw this, I went, okay, I personally haven't bought anything from Best Buy in many, many years. And for no other reason than there's not a convenient Best Buy near me. It's not like I didn't like them. It's just, I always felt they were a little too expensive and weren't close to me. But man, does this cut into, like, I feel like that has been a go-to for a lot of people for games and movies and whatnot. So as far as brick and mortars, that literally leaves like Targets, Walmarts. Like, what else is there at this point?
Yeah, I mean, Target, Walmart, GameStop. I mean, there's places to buy out there still, but it's just like, yeah, it's just weird that like such a big tech-heavy conglomerate like Best Buy is getting rid of everything physical, like media related. Like
the
movies,
only thing I
games,
can guess,
Blu-ray.
like, remember
like
when
it takes
Circuit
up a lot
City?
of it takes up a lot of floor space.
It does.
And I'm guessing it's not, selling the way they needed to justify it. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, it's funny you talk about buying from there. Like, I bought my whole new kitchen set there on a Memorial Day sale. It was actually a pretty good deal. I was like, yay! But I walked through the game aisle and I was like, there's nothing worth buying for these prices.
Well, that's my point. Like, I basically at this point, I used to view Best Buy as like we said, the kind of cool tech thing. But now I kind of look at it like a Sears that also sells phones. Like, I don't know what else to say. Maybe computer people can argue with me about it. I've never bought computer stuff from a Best Buy, so I won't do that. But yeah, I think it stinks. And, you and I, Gaming Off the Grid, people our age all kind of feel the same way. It's like we value the physical media thing. I mean, I still do my runs to friggin' Goodwills, get my DVDs, get my games or whatever. Like, I do think there's something you're gonna miss. Even though I know it's inevitably going to an all-digital future at some point. You're gonna miss having it. Although, as you learn, moving, you're like, why the fuck do I have all this stuff?
Yeah, it's easy to wax poetic when you're kind of, you're settled, you're established, and you have all your crap, and you can put everything everywhere you want. You know what to expect from your house, but yeah, no, it's a pain in the dick. And then between moving the crap and having some of my crap stolen during the course of all this stuff, it's like, yeah, this is so not goddamn worth it. I wish I never started collecting.
Yeah, I can't blame you. I don't know, like, there aren't enough mom and pop shops. I mean, think about like near us.
Mom and pop shops suck for the most part. Like
they do.
I know there's good ones out there, probably, but like people wax. Or did I say wax poetic already? I'm turning into you with MODOK. But people hype up mom and pop shops way too much. Like I appreciate what they do too, but like every single one that I've been to in our local area, everything with that you would want to buy is overpriced, which I get it because, brick and mortar overhead, they got to make the most out of the games that are going to actually sell. But it's still bullshit. And then everything you buy from them, like for the most part, they're not clean. It's never fucking clean. And, they say they tested everything, but I've bought games that just haven't worked from these stores before. So, like, yeah, they're not these infallible things that we have to protect at all costs.
So, I mean, what do you
eBay's
think?
better than mom and pops. You're paying for convenience.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, what is the future of physical media? Is it really just going to be relegated to whatever the largest Walmarts, whatever? And by the way, can I say for physical media, I think I talked about this before, but Walmart does kill it with their DVDs. Like, I still love the bundles of, like, whole franchise. It'll be like the whole friggin' Scream 6 movies or whatever, and it'll be like $20. And it comes with like cool cover art. Like they have their own custom things. Like they put effort into it is all I'm saying. Like you've got to appreciate that. Yeah, like it's just going to come down to that. And is that fine? Is that like what you expect? I mean, if GameStop, we talked about last week with their new CEO and their new strategies, if that ever goes away, man, I guess the idea of that midnight game release, game-centric places just won't exist anymore.
Yeah, and it'll suck. And I mean, yeah, you can hate on GameStop as much as you want for a lot of their practices, but you know what GameStop's great for? Deals. And getting deals on old crap.
Mm-hmm.
And when they have it, if you go in there and you strike when it's good, you're walking away with so much, like, 4-for-1 deals and crap like that. It's insane.
Yeah, I guess, when do you think the mass clearances start with Best Buy? Unless they already did.
That's a good question, because people love to shit on GameStop for, throwing out, overstock and shit like that. What's Best Buy going to do? I mean, if Best Buy announces some crazy sale to get rid of, before dumping all this stock, hopefully they just try and sell it off for as much and get what they can from it instead of just, trashing it all. But, then it's that old thing of, floor space versus blah, blah, blah. Is it even worth it to do that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's good questions, but we'll follow up. I mean, so this came from a tweet, but the tweet is linked to an article from the Digital Bits, and like I said, other channels have talked about it and covered it, so we'll see. It just seems like more and more stores just trying to get rid of their physical media, and that blows.
But Bri, there is a reason why physical media must never die, and that why we must keep stores around. Because goddamn it, Bri, sometimes there's a little glimmer of hope that comes through. There's a little shining moment for all of us out there. A little underdog story that tells you, you know what, everything just might be okay. Because Brian, in the month of September 2023, exactly one brand new Wii U unit was sold in the United States. I love this.
There's so many questions I have about this. And it is a really interesting article from NintendoEverything.com. It's extremely short, so I'll just, paraphrase the interesting parts, as Jim said. So the last time a Wii U was sold was May of 2022. Out
of a store in the United States, we should say.
Yeah. But then, in that same note, it also mentions that a Super NES, the last one sold in the U.S., was in January of 2008. And for those of you unaware, the Super NES came out in North America in 1991. So,
and it basically was done by like 97, 98 at the absolute latest. So it's so weird when like these random shops will just have this new old stock.
That's the thing. Like, and I really, really, really want to know, like, would they count like an eBay store? Or
no, it can't, because like I'm sure more of them have sold, over time.
No. I'm saying, could eBay be selling a new Wii U, but it's from a brick and mortar store? Or is this like a guy walked into a store and, like you said, it's a mom and pop, and they're like, oh yeah, the Wii U, we still have one of those left, brand new. Like, I hate that there's so little information. It doesn't say where in the U.S. It doesn't say, what do you think they paid for it? Like,
yeah, I wish it said what they paid for it. I'm really curious to see what that is. Because, like, were they still selling it for, like, over $200? I don't know. That would be crazy if they were. Like, I really regret, speaking back to, like, Best Buy and stuff. Like, I remember, like, 3-ish years ago, maybe? Like, Walmart was, like, liquidating, like, new 3DS XLs for, like, $80. And it came with, like, Mario Kart. And I was like, I already have a 3DS that I barely play, but part of me does want to just buy this. And I didn't. And I regret it now because I would have a brand new 3DS waiting for me, especially since my old one is stolen now. So, like, that would have been some good future-proofing right there, or just a cool thing to have for a friggin' bargain.
I was going to say, like, is there anything, like, say there was a limited edition 360 new in box, and just for argument's sake, it's like $100. Would you get it?
I'd be tempted. It would be kind of cool. It's money I don't need to spend and use up space I don't need to use up, but...
Of course.
How cool would it be to say that I bought a new special 360 in the year of our Lord 2023?
Yeah, I mean, the Wii U... Man, buying anything new... I'm just trying to speculate. Like,
and I want to know what store it was, too. Like, it pisses me off how vague this article is. It doesn't say how much. It doesn't say what store. It's just like, God, just give me the info. I need to know. Because, like, I was almost expecting a Walmart, because Walmart will be randomly good about just, like, finding a box in, like, a back alley of, like, one of their mega stores. And, like, we'll just have some old shit, like, on a shelf.
Just sitting there.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
Like they still have, like... I've seen Walmart still sell, like, brand new copies of Metroid Other M. And I'm talking, like, a year or two ago. And that's a game that came out in, like, 2010.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, that shit happens. Could it even be, like, a random GameStop that didn't dump its shit? Like, who knows?
Yeah, this screams mom and pop to me, but, like, part of me would think it would be even more interesting if it was, like, a big retail store.
I just want to know how this guy even got this info. Like, what trick, like, where are you pulling the data that, like, it's defined as a new sale? Like, I don't know. Like, there's so many questions I have about this that it doesn't answer. But it is, you know what, Jim? As much as I hate the Wii U, I like that they're just sold one unit, and before then it was May 2022.
So apparently the source is Circana, which is a retail tracking service. Oh. So new units purchased via a retailer. That's the info that I have there.
Okay.
So apparently this is the first time a new Wii U was sold since May of 2022. The last time a new Vita was sold was in November of 2021 when 3 were purchased. All right, so Vita, talk about a thing that I wish I struck on when no one was buying it and they were liquidating that shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a lot of those consoles. I mean, same. I honestly, when I like walk through Target and I see some of those consoles I know we've talked about, like the little mini like handhelds with a whole bunch of things, or the mini systems like the Intellivisions and all those shit. Like, I see those and I go, man, they're pretty cheap, and a lot of times they're on clearance racks. I'm like, but I don't need them. It's one of those things I always go like, should I have? Probably not. But, like you said, could it be cool?
Brian, what is the cool purchase that you went, I'll never use this, why would I ever want this, but I kind of want to buy it, that you passed on and then you went, shit, I should have done it? Do you have any of them in your repertoire, in your little history?
I mean, we've talked about so many times, not getting that goddamn Juggernaut. The Call of Duty mini fridge.
Oh, yeah. But that wasn't even as easy to get. Like, you had to, like, really pre-order that. And I mean,
But
you probably could have done it if you really.
I could have done, like, I was in that, you know me, when I was like hunting that shit down. Like
that was the height of your duty love too. Yeah.
And I was like, whatever that price was, I remember I was like, at that time, I was like, man, I just can't justify it. Now I look back, I'm like, you could have justified. But, you know.
Stupid bitch.
That, and maybe, like, I think back in the day, like, my cousin or something was, like, trying to get rid of his, like, Atari Lynx. And I remember playing it and loving it. And same deal. I was just like, no, I don't really need it. And I'm like, that's like a random little handheld. I would love to just be like, yeah, I have an Atari Lynx, you know?
Yeah.
Even a Sega Game Gear. Like, thinking back of not getting it, like, that was another one a different cousin had that I thought, this is the coolest thing in the world. Just little things like that, like, when I would be having more expendable income, especially when I was in the heat of gaming shit, I wish I would have got. I mean, when we first started this page, I look back at, like, the shit I would pass over at Goodwill's when they were stocked. And now I'm like, fuck.
Yep.
What about you? Is it the Vectrix?
Nope. Right. It is the Ouya.
Oh, the good old Ouya.
Because I remember, what do you call it? Like, it had to be like 2015 or something at this point. Maybe 2017 at the absolute latest. But I doubt it was that late. But I was like, for some reason, Target was like one of the big retailers that like went in on the Ouya and was like, that's like our buddy Super Nintendo had a great video about the Ouya and how like a lot of the Kickstarter backers were pissed because Targets had Ouya before the Kickstarter backers wound up getting them. Mm-hmm. So I remember walking through there after the thing had already failed, and they had all these, you know, brand new full units and stuff like that for like $30. They were getting rid of them, and I was like, man, I could get an Ouya for $30. And I was like, I would never use it. And now looking back, I'm like, stupid.
Yeah, well, I'm looking right now.
They're not super expensive now, but just
you can get for $50 on eBay right now.
For brand new in box though.
Complete with box, power cord. It's pre-owned, but
yeah,
still complete in box.
Yeah, I mean that's all right, but it could have been new, Brian.
Brand new is $150.
There you go.
Looks like
Stupid Jimmy and his momentary weakness of nah, I don't really need it. Here's the thing: if you ever say to yourself, I don't really need this, just buy it, because then you won't regret it later.
Does the Ouya? I remember that thing coming and going. Like, what did it actually play?
It basically played like 2013, 14 era Android games, like Android phone games as like a little consoleized version.
Oh, wow. Sorry, you really mad you didn't get that?
You know what? I'm mad because of how weird and dumb it is. Because you know me, I love my weird dumb shit. And
so
to have something like that would be
yeah.
like so funny. To be like, I have an Ouya. Probably could have been an Ouya channel. We could have been focused. Could have been focused and had success.
Jim,
would have ridden the Ouya all the way to the fucking moon.
Jim, you've actually just inspired me. What if we find an Ouya or get an Ouya just to do a review? Now, does it come preloaded with games, or did you have to buy games for it?
No, you had to buy games separately for it. But I think nowadays there's sites that basically have like all the ROMs that were ever going to be out there for Ouya, like available for download, because the service has been dead for like years and years and years.
Gotcha. So, I'm looking right now. There's approximately 1,250 games on there.
Holy crap.
Ooh. Jim, you know what we need to do? We need to find a site that does play these, and we need to play like the top 10 rated like best games on the Ouya.
Yeah, yes we do. It'll be weird. It'll be weird to see what they would be.
Because I feel like that's something that is very us. Like, we like playing the random shit. And somehow we can find that, I'm sure. There's got to be a way.
I do miss that, like, early 2010s era of, like, Gameloft developed games that were just, like, blatant ripoffs of actual console games just made for a cell phone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. They were great. I said some of the best, like, random licensed or even unlicensed, like Friday the 13th, Halloween, had like these phone games that like I either remember or was so mad I never got to play, and they only lived on those like Android style goofy ass games.
Yep.
I think we gotta do it, Jim. I think I'm gonna find it. I'm looking right now. I already see videos of like the 10 best Ouya games.
New page reboot. Here we go.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna be the Ouya boys.
It's a new era.
Did they have Shovel Knight on there? I don't know.
I don't know.
No, it just looks like Shovel Knight. But no, it's not Shovel Knight. Okay, we're gonna do it. You inspired me, Jim.
Rake Fighter.
Jim, you've opened Ouya's box. Get it? Like Pandora? The Ouya?
Well, everyone, that wraps up this episode of the Power Hour. So once again, we want to thank you for checking it out. If you're watching on YouTube, Spotify, or iTunes, check the links below. Go to all the different services, download it, give us subscriptions, leave reviews. Anything you can do will really help us out.
Jim, how was your beer?
You know what? The second one was a hell of a lot goddamn better because by then it had been, cool. It had warmed up a little bit, and that's when all the flavors really bounce themselves out. It's funny. That beer I had last week, that was 10%. I had 2 of those, and I was super drunk after, and I woke up with a bitch of a headache the next day.
I'm sure.
Whereas these are 8.6%, and, that's still pretty high, and, I got a good buzz going, but I'm not, insane right now. And I've had these before, and I didn't wake up feeling like shit, so it's gotta be something with how they filter out something or do something with the blend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 1,000%. This delicious, Jim. I'm gonna save you some toucans so you can try it yourself.
Cool.
The Chamonix Creek, like I said, doesn't miss, and the Marzen style, it feels like a pumpkin beer, but it's clearly not a pumpkin beer. So really good if you're a pumpkin hater. Perfect fall beer, Halloween style. Awesome can if you can get your hands on it. So as Jim said, thank you once again for everyone who's watching, and please hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to us. With that, have a good night. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, everybody.